I think we're, at least for me, just through this conversation, we're coming really close to this like epiphany that I'm having right now. And it's that, because I don't know, I'm sure you have, but there was a long time for me when I was in the dark spot and I was on the other side of the spectrum from where I think we are now.
Mhm.
And it's the I don't know if it's a burden or just part of being in the position, but to be somewhere where you are achieving great things. I hate because I'm trying to be humble, so I don't want to say that like I'm achieving great things, but for myself, I'm you know killing it out here. I used to not be able to run half a mile. I didn't lift any weights. I was 60, 70 pounds overweight, whatever. You know, whenever I was there, I wasn't, I don't think I was able to achieve great things because I didn't believe that I could and I didn't believe anyone else could. I just thought it was this crazy, outlandish place that only celebrities got to, and that you needed steroids, that you needed surgery, whatever it was. To achieve what you wanted, there had to be some little booster or handicap that you got.
Right.
And this method doesn't always work out, but I guess I'm calling out you, the viewers out there who are being closed minded and not believing in other people because you're not believing in yourself, right?
Yeah.
And it goes in with what I call pessimistic nihilism, because I think there's two camps of nihilism. There's the camp that says why, and then the other camp that says why not, because
Right.
the basis of that is that, at the end of the day, we're all going to die. Nothing matters, right? That's a nihilist. But you can take that from two perspectives. You can say it's all going to end. So why does any of it matter? You can either say, well, then I have no reason to work out because I'm just going to die one day. But you could also look at it as, well, I'm going to die one day. So why not work out? Why not try to feel as good as I can
Make
while
the
I'm
best of
here,
it.
you know?
Yeah.
So that's where I used to be, was in the pessimistic nihilist. I looked
Yeah.
at the world as, why are you all doing this? It doesn't matter. Like, you don't need a six pack because it's this unachievable thing that requires
Mhm.
so much effort. But it's like, why not put in the effort? Like,
Mhm.
you're a human, you hit the lottery being a human,
You're already one
So
in a million person.
yeah, so just you gotta step back for a second and think that you really are capable of anything you put your mind to, and you have to believe that these other people were in a position similar to you at one point. They were a
Mhm.
baby that could not run a 6 minute mile, or Usain Bolt as a baby was just as useless as you were as a baby. So you gotta grind it out, and you gotta
Mhm.
believe, that you can get somewhere as well. And it's a hard transition to make, and it's shitty, and like me saying this is probably pissing people off because I can feel old fucking cringy me from 2009 getting pissed off at me saying this. So I don't know. It's this rough spot that we're in, trying to preach to the choir,
Yeah.
and it's like I was just unable to hear this back then. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Like, I can't connect the piece because there was this little gray area. I was so low, and then I had to go through a transition to get back to a point where I could even say these things genuinely. And I don't know where that little like transition, like what causes that, like how can I get someone from here to the transition so they can get to where we are. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
You just lead by example. And that's
exactly.
why, yeah, that's my mentality with world peace. It's okay if everybody can doubt, and if nobody thinks it's possible, I'll believe for them. I'll lead by example and show that it is possible, regardless of the obstacles or anything that's to come. Because I believe 100% that it is. And this will also kind of go in can with like what you're talking about, but I was actually wanting to read this. This is actually a little poem that I wrote. I think I was like 18, 19 years old, but I don't know. I feel like it goes really in canon with like all this deep philosophical stuff that we're talking about, as well as kind of like what my goals is and motivation is, because my perspective, the work that I do in my podcast right now, I'm not only investing it in today's generation or the coming ones. I'm seeing my work as something that could either remain or be buried and resurface centuries from now. That's how far into I'm looking at it. But um, this thing that I wrote, it's called "The Father of Time," Part One, and it goes like this: The Father of Time, an hourglass shattered above my crown, making no sound as the sands of time race to the ground. My life hastens as time rushes away. Stay, please, and defy gravity. Become free in motion and slow so I can love every minute instead of counting the years that's turned to seconds. 20 years it's been that's gone in a flash. The clocks wind down and I'm forced to count the hours that's passed into the past of untold tales that have chosen to set sail into the sea of history where nothing can ever return. I have already begun my journey across the sea to capture a dream so long sought that was explained in a bashful sonnet that promised me the power to control time and let it unwind so the sands of time can solidify instead of being liquefied, running like warm water that's too fast to catch. The atoms are far apart and too quick to snatch as they pass through my fingers. And if time I could freeze, life would be a breeze, as I would have the chance at an eternity with no worry about becoming old and elderly. I would sharpen the frozen millennials into a ball so I can digest it all and become the father of time because I don't want to cherish the 50 years I have left. I want to value the eternity I have after my own lifespan. I feel it slowing, time that is. The sands clumps and molds around my toes. My seconds turn to hours, and the hours scour across the infinite space and fills the gaps in between, creating years, decades, and centuries that can't be seen but by me alone. And the key to immortal peace that I seek has come to be for me. Can't you see that I am free? From the hour hand that starts the countdown, I glued the hourglass together, piece by piece, and reinforced it with the ribs under my skin. The glass hardened and is equal as steel, so the sands of time can never spill. And I have become the father of time. It follows my will, not out of fear or fright, but for the love of life. A bond is forged between time and I, as time lends me an eternity, so I can pursue my love of knowledge and life as I struggle and strife to satisfy my hunger for a better world and be a voice for the ages that seeks for all to reach greatness. I watch the billions of grains of sand that resembles each and every woman and man. I count the grains that elapse and watch the beautiful lives that have come to pass. That was it. But yeah, I wrote that, I say, about like 5 years ago.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's like
And
how like philosophical you were 5 years ago. That's insane. I was like a rock. That's how much brain activity there was going on in my head back then. No,
but
that's beautiful, man.
oh
That's
dang,
beautiful.
it was actually funny because I wrote that on my lunch break when I worked at Lowe's, and it's just like for some reason I just had a moment where it quite literally felt like time just went sitting still, and then just all of that started to click together. But it's I still believe that to this day. I still believe that we're infinite, we're able to achieve greatness. And I mean, to be honest, as much pain and suffering would come, I wouldn't mind living for an eternity because at least I'd have the privilege to see how beautiful we can become in the long run.
Well, like how some people say that this is all just a matrix or that we're in a simulation
Hmm.
or that we get reincarnated. Like there's all these theories of like what happens after at the end of life whenever you die.
Yeah.
But like nobody really knows where does it start, where does it end? Did time really start whatever 2.3 billion years ago with the Big Bang?
Mm,
Are we in a simulation? Whatever, but I mean, what if your first memory to your last memory really is all that you get to experience? There's not like a point after life whenever you get to go into spectator mode and like watch the
yeah.
world pass by for thousands of years. Like is this in some ways this is forever, you
Mhm.
know? Like we are just living in an internal moment and we're seeing things pass by, but if you ever watch Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Yeah, I've
they
seen some of it.
lay out the entire cosmic calendar. So, like, the first day of the year is the Big Bang, and the last day of the year is present day. And the entirety of like humans being on Earth is like the last
Just tiny
weekend
little speck of dust.
of the year or something. Yeah, it's tiny. Um, but like, what if that cosmic calendar is just whenever you're born to whenever you die, then
Mhm.
like you really are experiencing forever in some ways, because whatever, maybe there was trillions of people before us, maybe there's going to be trillions after, but if we
Mhm.
never even experience that or see them, or like, how do we know? It's not
Yeah.
material. It's like that's one of the things that freaks me out, is that, like, I don't know what's going on in China right now. I can't even like say that I do. Even if I see it on the news, like, how do I know this
Right.
is real live video of China? Like, it could be just some set in the middle of Hollywood where they're making it look like there's a fire or something
Yeah.
in China. Like, I don't really know unless I'm there to touch it. And like, how do we know that the rest of time happened, that there was Egyptians and that there was cavemen before men, that there was dinosaurs before the animals that are here now? Like, we don't really know because we weren't there to touch it. But if you think of time as just what you were able to experience and like touch and see, realistically, we're living the entire cosmic calendar. Like, that's our life.
Mhm.
So you really do experience forever. There's a Queen song called "Who Wants to Live Forever," and one of the lyrics is that there's only one sweet moment set aside for us,
Mhm.
you know, and it's like, it's kind of weird. There's like a lot of stuff going on right now, so I'm sorry if this is like overwhelming, but
Oh, no, you're fine.
just like our perception of time, like, what is it like? Is time a thing, or is it just something that our minds created?
Mhm.
It just so happens that the sun goes up every 24 hours and it goes down every 24 hours, whatever. Like, if we just ignored all that and we didn't have a sense of time at all, like, what would happen? you know like,
Right.
maybe we wouldn't even age. Like, we don't know. Maybe all these changes that happen on us is because of these weird parameters that we put on ourselves. It's
Yeah.
pretty odd. And I don't know, it kind of freaks me out, bro. But yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
Well,
like that poem kind of just made me think of that, because it almost puts the reader in a position of thinking of themselves as the father of time. As you were writing it, of course, right? You
mhm.
were putting yourself in that position. But then as a reader, you listen and you're like, I am the father of time. And like, everyone's the father of time, their own time, you
Mhm.
know? And they're almost like your own little parallel universe. Is your life, your perspective is one universe, and mine's over here. And like, we're going to see and perceive different things
Mhm.
that are completely different, but are technically all on the same playing